Well, it's April. You know it's a time for another Games of Decades Past. You know, I was thinking to myself how most games are not even released between April to July. They're usually the dead months, nothing comes out, and it seems that developers and publishers make it on purpose so people can catch up to all the games that came out before. I mean, yeah, sometimes they're gonna be nice enough to give us some gems like this, but you know, it's mostly the niche time, and while researching all the games that came out in April 2003, I had a very hard time picking one because there was barely anything that came out. There were some few gems here and there, but thankfully I found the game I can actually give a valid opinion about, and that is none other than the classic game Ikaruga. So, Ikaruga, made by Treasure, and it's actually the sequel to another game they made on the Saturn, only in Japan, called Radiant Silvergun. I haven't played Radiant Silvergun myself, but I know it is also on the Xbox Live Marketplace, but haven't downloaded it, haven't gotten it yet, so I only played Ikaruga. And Ikaruga, whichever way you want to say the name. What can I say about it? I haven't really had much experience with it myself. My friend actually owned it at the time. I mean, back then, you have to realize that I didn't really have this. I mean, I actually had a friend, you know, who he had the big game collection. I always came to his place, and we actually played Ikaruga at the time because it was the only game that came out during that time that was worth talking about. So I wasn't really even that big into the shmup, you know, genre, so to say, but that's really what got me into it. I mean, and to this very day, I can say it's probably one of the best ones, if not the best, and it's a very odd thing for me to say because I'm not really, you know, passionate about it. I mean, it is made by Treasure, well, I'm gonna go say right now on record that they're one of the best developers in the business. I think they're like top 10 developers. Treasure must be there. But it's not my favorite genre. I mean, you do die a lot. There is like bullet hell, you get shot, so it's not exactly, you know, the most pleasant experience, but the unique mechanic behind it, the color changing mechanic, or polarity change, whichever you want to call it, makes it such a unique experience that I cannot, you know, not acknowledge it for what it is. And I had a lot of fun, even though I died so many freaking times. So like I said, you have to change your colors between red and blue, or white or black. It depends really how you want to call it, but either way, I mean, you can choose between a white ship that has a blue aura to a black ship that has a red aura, so that's the difference pretty much. And it depends on the bullets that enemies shoot at you, you can actually absorb their attack if they're the same color. However, if you're the opposite color of an enemy, you can actually destroy them much faster. So there's a strategy. Would you rather actually charge, you know, your super attacks and, you know, get all the bullets and take more time defeating an enemy, or would you rather, you know, be a risky bastard and just be the opposite color and just nail them down right there? And I'm surprised too about the games that how many there are many puzzle elements too. There's, in the second stage in particular, there's all those blocks that you have to destroy, and you have to maneuver your way very carefully, because if not, you're gonna explode in pieces, and it feels very different than a regular, you know, shmup. You have to actually use your mind, you know, what color is the best for the specific scenario you're in. That being said, I'm not saying the game is slow. In fact, stage 3 in particular, I remember when I was playing it and I was, you know, thinking, oh my god, it's pretty slow, and then all of a sudden it just throws, you know, shutting doors immediately, and then, you know, enemies from the left, enemies from the right, laser beams over there, laser beams over there. Sheesh, that game is tough. I cannot stress this enough. This is a really hard game, but the controls are great. That's the thing. It's hard for all the right reasons. It's hard because it's challenging, and honestly, I'm gonna admit, this game kicked my ass on easy mode. I mean, it's a very tough game, and I admit, this game kicked my ass on easy mode, but I do want to finish it. The problem is, and that's probably the biggest knock against Ikaruga that I have, the continue system. And honestly, there's some people out there who play, you know, all those games like Galaga and Ewan's Quadrant, Gradius, Atlas, but they're, you know, excellent at those kind of games. They can avoid every single bullet and every single, you know, frame of animation. They can do like those Matrix evasion move. I'm not like that, and honestly, I think the majority of people are not born with godlike reflexes, so it would have been nice, you know, to actually allow you to have, you know, unlimited difficulties. That would kind of defeat the point of the game, because if you had unlimited difficulties, the game would be super short. You could probably finish it in like in half an hour, but even so, it can still be, you know, a very major turnoff for some people. So I think it'll be nice if they actually gave, you know, unlimited continues. They did. However, you need to play the game for 8 hours straight, and the majority of people that got this game, I know my friend did it too, he left his GameCube open for about 8 hours straight just so he can unlock unlimited continues, and that's how we finished the game. There's some story there too, but you don't really play Ikaruga for the story, let's be honest. I mean, you're playing it for the shooting action. Overall, I would say Ikaruga is still one of the best shooting up games of all the time that I can think of. I mean, I can't think of, like, you know, a game that was more refined. Maybe Axlay for the Super Nintendo, I would say maybe that's, like, you know, a competition. Or UN Squadron for that matter, but other than those two, or Gradius 5 maybe, I think that's about it. I think that Ikaruga is, like, literally a cut above the rest, if only for that mechanic. That mechanic is so great, they even used that in the game Outland for both the PSN and the Xbox Live, which is a platformer that you can only jump on specific platforms when you change your color of your character from, you know, red and blue, which is, again, you can clearly tell the developers of Outland played Ikaruga, so awesome game. I highly recommend, actually, if you have an Xbox, definitely try to download an Xbox Live. It's only $10, so highly recommend it. And during this segment, I'll show you some other games that came out in April of 2003. And join me next month, where I'm gonna even have a harder time finding something to talk about in May. See you next time, guys. And now I'm gonna leave my Xbox 8 hours on. Wish me luck, guys.